Wow, isn't that some incredible work? We've been a busy group. Good morning. I'm Susannah Hale, Director of Special Campaigns at Forterra. I think I have a pretty amazing job. I have a fan club. I think I have a pretty amazing job. Last year, I spent my time working on the campaign to save the Port Gamble Forest. And we did it. Together with so many of you here in this room, we conserved nearly 4,000 acres of forest and shoreline over on the Kitsap Peninsula. Thank you to each person who helped save this incredible treasure. At 6 times the size of Central Park, it's a huge win for our region. So when my colleagues and I were finished with Over on Kitsap, we turned our attention to another remarkable project, the Lake Serene Trail up on Highway 2. I've hiked it. You've probably hiked it, at least or know someone who has. It's one of the most beautiful and accessible trails in our region. For many, it's the first hike they take when they move here, have taken their kids, or they're out-of-town guests. I even know some people who got engaged up there. Needless to say, it's an incredible place. Well, the first part of that trail is in private hands. And last summer, the owner decided it was time to log the trees in the area, which is something they have the right to do. Forterra does support working forests. But those trees along the trail, those are not trees we wanted to lose, and that is not a place to log. So we decided to buy that land, that keystone land. And to raise the balance of funds, we turned to the public, to all of you. And wow, did you ever respond? In the space of just a few weeks, and with the support of many partners, we received over 600 contributions. Many were small, some were big, and there was one very big. I want to tell you the story of the very big gift. Not simply because it's a big gift, but because of what it says about the beautiful places that surround us and how much they mean to all of us. The summer before last, 2 young women hiked the Lake Serene Trail. It was an especially hard journey for them. It took 5 arduous hours, and many times they considered turning back. But they made it. They made it to that beautiful turquoise lake at the end. They felt like they had to, because they knew that for one of them, Miranda Myers, it might well be the last hike she'd take. Miranda was suffering from a rare and aggressive cancer. After being diagnosed in 2014 at just 24 years of age, she fought hard. Endless rounds of chemo and long stretches in the ICU. So, in 2016, Miranda decided to stop her treatment. She had been given 9 months to live and decided to spend it with friends and family, completing a wish list. A longtime friend of hers, Dylan, asked her if there was some experience they could share together in her remaining time. Miranda told her she wanted to go on a beautiful hike. So they asked for trail suggestions on Facebook, and the resounding answer was Lake Serene. And so they went. And I'm sure you can imagine the emotions they must have experienced that day. The doubt, the pain, and the struggle. And then the exhilaration when they finally made it to that lake and embraced. This past fall, Miranda lost her fight. A few days later, Dylan saw a story on King 5 about Forterra's campaign to save the Lake Serene Trail. Dylan thought back to that special day that she shared with Miranda and then did something extraordinary. To honor the memory of her friend and their unforgettable day, Dylan, working through the Seattle Foundation, contacted us and said she would do what was needed to close the campaign. She gave $100,000. She said she just couldn't imagine such a special place being lost. Now, we don't actually know Dylan. Dylan's not her real name. She's chosen to stay anonymous. But we are told that her family has a history of generously giving back. So once we finalize the transaction later this year, I'll be working with Dylan and the Seattle Foundation to find a way to honor Miranda. Dylan is thinking a bench where someone could sit and find respite and soak up the majesty. We just couldn't agree more. So we wanted to take time today to properly thank Dylan. So Dylan, if you are here today, please know how much this means to all of us and everyone who hikes that trail in years to come. As Jean said earlier, Forterra is driven by the belief that decisions about land are some of the most important we can make as a society. Land is the base on which all life plays out. We try to protect and enhance places that are critical to a positive future. And where we can, we try to link Keystone Place to Keystone Place so they reinforce each other. We call these corridors of sustainability. One of these is the Great Northern Corridor, reaching from Everett to Stevens Pass. Lake Serene Trail is along this corridor. If you were here last year, you heard a lot about it. If you weren't, I'm going to give you a 2-minute reprise. We believe cities are an integral part of a sustainable region, so we're active in Everett, caring for parks and green space through the Green Everett Partnership. We're also helping Everett deal with its growing pains by helping Everett Station and its neighborhoods grow up in ways that include affordable housing, affordable business space, parks, and green space, all within walking distance of transit. Around cities like Monroe, Snohomish, and Sultan, we're making sure that farms and working forests stay intact. And together with the Tulalip tribes, you'll also find us securing wildlife and forests around the Wallace River. Long ago, we secured a beautiful place called Haybrook Ridge. I've been there, it's pretty awesome. Now, we already talked about Lake Serene, so that brings us to the charming historic railroad town of Skykomish. The trains used to be the lifeblood of the town, as well as mining and logging. But today, what has the town and other folks excited is the prospect of new prosperity and new jobs based in responsible recreation. Because with the Skykomish River in the front yard and Maloney Ridge out back, there is so much to do there. Responsible is the key word. We all have to make sure that the town isn't overwhelmed and that both the environment and people flourish. So we're working in close partnership with the town, government agencies, tribes, and NGOs. And if we get it right, what an even bigger gem this place will be.